Hey, it's your pal Mike Shea from Sly Flourish, here with another episode of Sly Flourish's Lazy DM Prep. This is a weekly show shot 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Times on Twitch, in which I go through steps from Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master while preparing for my Sunday D&D game. In this case, I am running the game Rime of the Frostmaiden, the published adventure Rime of the Frostmaiden. This show, like all of the work of Sly Flourish, is brought to you by the patrons of Sly Flourish. You too can become a patron of Sly Flourish by going to patreon.com/SlyFlourish. Becoming a patron gives you access to a whole bunch of exclusive material, including 2 exclusive adventures, 20 pages of uncovered secrets, which are 1-page guides to help you and make it easier to run D&D, and 17 pages of adventure generators, which help you generate adventures. You also get $5 off the brand new hardcover version of Sly Flourish's Fantastic Adventures. So if you want $5 off, you can join the Patreon for $2 and get basically 2.5 months of the Patreon for free if you are buying the hardcover version of Fantastic Adventures. So patrons of Sly Flourish, thank you very much. The show is possible to you. All the equipment, bandwidth costs, all the things that I need in order to do this show, all the little costs that I have I'm able to afford thanks to you. So what happened in last session's game? So in last session, I believe it was a fun situation. They had used detect thoughts on. So we were running the adventure Hold Up, which is the Dugan's Hole, the adventure in Chapter 1 in Rime of the Frostmaiden for Dugan's Hole. Up front, I would like to offer the main things that I feel like need to be changed when you're running Hold Up. Number 1, replace the winter wolves with dire wolves. There's a few reasons for this. One is dire wolves are actual beasts, which means that it makes sense that they were awakened by the druid, Ravison the druid. It does not make sense. The winter wolves are monsters, so they can't be awakened. And they already have an intelligence. So you kind of lose this idea that beasts are becoming intelligent and starting to do things like blackmail whole towns. Right. So it's more interesting when they're dire wolves. 2 is winter wolves are really hard at low levels. Like, they're very swingy monsters. They're big. They have lots of hit points. They have a breath weapon that does a ton of damage. 2 winter wolves is real trouble. 2 dire wolves can also be trouble, but not nearly as much. And if you want to scale up the difficulty a little bit, if you've got like 5 or 6 characters, you can scale up the difficulty by adding extra wolves, right? Just throw in some other wolves that are following the dire wolves. So replace the winter wolves with dire wolves. Number 2 is change the dungeon. Change the map of the dungeon. Let me pull the map up here real quick. We go to our D&D Beyond Frostmaiden, and we go to Hold Up with Dugan's Hole. And if we look at the map, if we look at the map, the children that have been kidnapped are in area L3. And the entryway is area L1. So if the characters manage to go from L1 into L3, they can rescue the kids and go right out and never go to any of the other rooms in the dungeon. So what I did is I had the wolves who saw this vulnerability. They collapsed the doorway between L1 and L3. And they opened up the wall between L3 and L8. And what that meant was that now if the characters want to get in, they can only get in through area L4 or area L2. They can go around that way, but they eventually have to go through the rest of the dungeon and see Norsu, the mammoth, and really see the other stuff that's going on in this place. Otherwise, they can short circuit the whole thing and it doesn't work. The other change I made to the map is the hole, Remoraz hole that exists between L8 and outside. You could only escape it by going out from L8. It was sealed up or basically invisible. You didn't know it was there if you came from the outside. That way you don't have another short circuit where they can just go in through that hole and go in, grab the kids, and go right out again. You could open that up. If for some reason it's tricky, you could have that sort of get discovered if it turns out that entryway really helps the story or moves the pacing of the game in the right way. You could open it up the other way. But I found that to me the better default was sealing it up. So that was number 2. Change 2. Change number 3 is changing Norsu the mammoth. So there is a big woolly mammoth, an awakened woolly mammoth named Norsu. And if you read the adventure, Norsu is that the frost giant was killed by adventurers and Norsu hates adventurers. I changed that around to the frost giant died of a heart attack. He died of natural causes. And Norsu was awakened into the grief of losing their master. And so they are more forlorn than they are angry. And they can become angry. Norsu could become angry if the characters don't handle it right. But better is that they have an opportunity to negotiate with Norsu and take care of that. So that works, that works really well. And you have this much deeper interaction with Norsu. When Norsu, to me, it was really, really interesting to hear Norsu say, to deal with Norsu as a creature who woke up, whose mind woke up for the first time into grief. Like, what is it like when you take a creature that doesn't have, full sentience and becomes sentient, realizing for the first time that their companion is dead? Like, that's a terrible way to start, right? It's a broken way to start. So I think that is a really strong way to go. So that is the third change I would make. The fourth change I would make to the city of Dugan's Hole overall, which is get rid of the backwater incest stereotype for the town. I don't know why the hell that's in here. And it's kind of, I find it insulting, right? Like, it doesn't add anything to it. And just have them be like the poorest of 10 towns, right? It's way easier to go with that. But don't, I don't know. The whole idea that like, oh, they're all incestuous. Like, wait a minute. Other towns are like a half a day away. Like, they don't go and meet people. So, I think that it's far better. I think that it's far better to just treat them as a poor town. So those are my 4 big changes, just in review. Winter wolves to dire wolves, seal up the doorway between L1 and L3 and open up a hole between L8 and L3. Make Norsu in mourning rather than angry, and doing so by having him not pissed off at adventurers, and having the frost giant have died of natural causes. And 4, get rid of the weird stereotypes and the incest relationships in Dugan's Hall. So the session worked out very well. The characters did in fact go through L1, L4, L5. They explored it. They found the giant. They talked to Norsu. They convinced Norsu that there was more to life than just sitting here and starving to death because of his mourning master. It was convincing enough. And Norsu said, fine, I'm not going with you, but I'll go out and I'll eat. And I'm not ready to leave my master yet, but maybe one day I'll go out there. So it brings out a new NPC where Norsu could show up somewhere else in the adventure, and that could be fine. They got the kids. They rescued the kids. They took the boots. One thing I missed is that they did in fact discover a kobold who had been killed by a kobold vampire. They didn't figure out that it's a kobold vampire, but they've seen the first clues of this, and this is a good way to hint about the kobold vampires that appear later on in the adventure. They made their way back to Dugan's Hole. They had a big party. During it, they were thinking more about the murders that were occurring and doing the timeline. And I sort of forced the realization on them that the timeline for Torg's roving mercantile and the murders were in connection. I kind of just blurted it out. And it was because like it's a like trying to, the characters weren't that interested in the mystery. They weren't spending a lot of time on it. And B, they weren't like the clues are really hard to pick up on that. So I just kind of like had them roll a check, or I had the character who knew Torg's, that he was thinking about Torg's timeline, and he was also thinking about the murder timeline, and realized they sync up, right? Like, this makes sense. And then they said, well, where are they headed next? They said Targos. They said, well, let's go to Targos. So then they started traveling across country from Dugan's Hole to Bryn Shander. And if you look at the map, it's far faster to cross over. Let's see, open a new window. It is far faster to go from Dugan's Hole to Bryn Shander across country, right, than it is to go all the way along the East Way through Goodmead and everything like that. So to save some time, they went that way. That meant they could do it in a day. Halfway through, they went across. I rolled a random encounter, and they ran into an ice troll. Holy cow, ice trolls are dangerous creatures. If we go to if we go to D&D Beyond and we look at ice. So there's an ice troll variant in the monster manual, I think, right? But then there's an actual ice troll, and they are brutal. They're CR8. So I threw a CR8 monster against 5 third level characters, and it would have been really bad. I limited its attacks to 2 with the claws instead of 3, but it did the 20 points of damage per, and I knocked the aura down to about 6 points of damage instead of 10. But boy, ice trolls are really rough. So actually, the strong start. If we pull up our notes, let's get our notes together, and we're going to generate a new session planning template. Enjoy some coffee in the meantime. And today is the 28th of March. Sunday, Frostmaiden. So the strong start is examining the ice troll. I have an idea. I was thinking about this last night. Examining the ice troll is one of them. And we have a secret and clue we can throw in here, which is the heart of an ice troll. It can create something, right? Like, where is it? A creature that eats the heart gains it. So these are, these secrets are all pretty great. We're going to drop 4 secrets. We're going to steal them right out of the book. And we are going to turn these into checkboxes. Tell you the advantage of a published adventure. You can grab secrets and throw them in your book. A hag or similar creature can perform a ritual that turns the heart into a magical talisman that acts like a patch of brown mold. Why would that be something you'd want to do? I think, that was weird. We're going to get rid of this brown mold one because who cares? Yeah, so they could learn some of this, but I think what might be fun is an old woman. So who is I want to introduce the hag. Oops, hang on. I want to introduce the hag that is in the other adventure. Is she in, not Black Swords, is that not the Unseen? Toil and Trouble, right? Maud Chiselbones is her name. Is that right? Maud Chiselbones in East Haven. Magic Cauldron is hidden inside. The cauldron is guarded by an evil hag named Maud Chiselbone, right? So I think Maud Chiselbone is going to visit them. Oh, and there's great art for her. Where is the art for Maud? Oh, this art? So, a little too hag-like, right? I think I'm going to have her, because I don't want to necessarily blow the fact that she's a hag. They might figure it out. But, so what we can do, here's a dirty trick. We are going to create a page for Maud Chiselbone. And we're going to create a new subpage in the Frostmaiden database. Bang. Now we have a Maud Chiselbone page. We're going to grab that piece of art and copy it. And we're going to go in here and bang, add the art. And we say hag in East Haven in the East Haven quest. She is an NPC. She is also a villain. I don't know why I have NPCs and villains separate. So now I've got a nice card, but I want to have her look like something else. So we're going to do D&D portraits. And we're going to look through our portrait gallery here, and we're looking for an old lady. Nothing's immediately jumping out. Old lady portrait. There's a bunch. What does she look like? So that one's not so bad. I like that one. She looks a little too nice. I mean, she looks like, you know, a noble. This woman, I already used this one. That's another NPC we'll talk about later. Here's a good one. That one's not bad. Too nice. Clearly a hag. Her with an owl, right? Could she have an owl familiar? Oh, because, you know, the owl is one of the forms of Oral, right? So maybe there's like a little tie there. She has a snow white owl. So this could be her. Yeah, so she'd be bluffed as a druid, right? A druid or a wizard. Is there any other better pictures that work? Yeah, there we go. How about that one? Nope. I think that would be fine. So, yeah, so I think it would be fun. The strong start is, oh, you've killed a nice troll. And she comes out, she goes, oh, look at that one. Looks like an adolescent, right? Looks like one of the younger ones. Good thing you didn't face a full-on adult. And they'd be like, that was a younger one? So I think that will be a good, strong start. Hey, we can go to backlinks. Pink. And we'll add her to NPCs. And yeah, so I think there could be some fun stuff there. So Maud is from, she says that she's from East Haven. But really, they don't know who she is. And isn't like do they know she's a hag? Like that could be interesting. So we'll figure that out. So we'll have that scene. That will be it's a good strong start, and it's a strong start that isn't a fight. So that works well. Hopefully it isn't a fight. I think if it turns into a fight, she's gonna turn into like a creature and fly away. Meet Maud. I've got my strong start, right? Then return to Bryn Shander. And then travel to Targos. And then I don't know where they're going from there. So I'm going to be playing this one heavily by ear. So another secret. I've got a bunch of secrets. This is going to be pretty easy to do. Is the Targos Quests, right? So if we go back to D&D Beyond, we go to Targos. Bunch of secrets. So Mountain Climb is the name of theirs. A few days ago, Garrett was hired to some adventurers to lead him up the slopes of Kelvin's Cairn. Garrett's plan was to take the adventurers to Ciar Konig, the town at the foot of Kelvin's Cairn, after they acquired some climbing gear from the outfitters there. He was to lead them up the mountain. Garrett took 6 dogs and sled. Boy, the Garrett's favorite. Yeah, so people fear has gone missing up Kelvin's Cairn, right? I think that is the quest. And it's this whole, like, this whole dog barking business. So I think that, you know, we can just drop in. I think I'll throw in the mountain climb intro as soon as they get to Targos, right? Right, I can actually link to that. Bang. So we got that, and then they can decide where to go from there. They can also pick up some other rumors, right? If we go to the 10 towns, the other rumors are in Lonelywood, beware the dreaded white moose. Moose jaws. And in Tourmaline, we have this one. So those are the two that are near Targos. So they go to Targos, they learn about the Targos quest, they pick up the Lonelywood quest and the Tourmaline quest. The Targos one was a weird one, right? Let's see. Where's in Targos? Band of Adventurers planning to go up the. Yeah, Chunky Banana says, "I'm so ready for Moose Jaws. I am too. My other group is in the middle of Moose Jaws right now. It's lots of fun." Now everyone in the whole world has referred to it. All the players and the people in game now refer to it as Moose Jaws. So that works out. The other secret about Targos. So we probably want to throw some Bryn Shander stuff in here. What's been going on with the Church of Oral? The children of Oral have been escalating their sacrifices, or escalating their rhetoric. I don't know how to spell rhetoric. There's an H in there somewhere. There it is. They've been escalating their rhetoric. More people have joined the children and gone missing in the what's it called? Oh boy. Let's see if I've got it in my notes. If I go to here and I go to locations, I think I have the House of the Triad. Right? Gone missing in the house. Whoops. The House of the Triad. And the children have begun a ritual under the house. What's that ritual? So I think they're summoning an ice demon. Is there an ice demon? There is an ice devil. But what about an ice demon? What if it's like an icy version of a Hezro? That would be pretty great. Does anybody have an idea for a cool ice demon? Like what kind of terrible creature could the children of Oral be summoning underneath their temple? I want them to have, or they have something down there, right? An icy Balor. That's a little too much. I'm looking for a tier 1, edge of tier 2 sort of creature. I'm stealing directly from the Castlevania cartoon series on Netflix, but the idea that they have summoned a icy demon and it's bound up and they are, and they're draining blood from it, and they're drinking it and they're getting crazier and crazier, right? I think they're doing nutty stuff down there, and eventually they're going to turn into like ice demons themselves and then cause havoc throughout Bryn Shander. You know, there's your fronts, right? The children of Oral fronts. Snow Owlbear. No, I need something worse than that. Let's take a look at demons, shall we? Let's just take a moment. We'll go to our monster manual. 'Cause I like traditional demons. And we'll go to demons. And see what we've got. And you can make an icy version of anything. Balor, too hard. So we have Balor, Barrelgruz. That's pretty good. Icy Barrelgra. Casmi, probably not. Although Casmi's getting free would be pretty great. Dretches, boring. Glabrezo, too powerful. Gorostro, too powerful. Hezro, maybe. Amain, too low. Maril, too powerful. Nalfishni, too powerful. Quasit, no. Shadow Demon, boring. Vrock, too thematic. Yoklal, too thematic. Hezro, so Barrelgruz are CR5. So Barrelgra would be pretty great. An icy Barrelgra. And you could just add ice onto its attack. It makes 3 attacks with its bite and 2 fists. And what if it did an extra D6 cold damage? And it can go invisible. I think we're going to go with Icy Barrelgra. They have summoned an Icy Barrelgra and are draining blood from it, which they ingest and is doing bad things. So it's cool. It's already resistant to cold, right? So you can make an Icy Barrelgra and you can say that it does extra cold damage on its attacks, and you're done, right? And now you got an Icy Barrelgra. Those little like tweaks to templates, I mean, that reskinning thing is fantastic. But the idea that you can just like add a feature onto a monster and you have a different flavored monster, I think is really, really powerful. So that's what's going on with the children. Oh, one thing we want is I want to have a map handy. So Dyson, we'll go to Dyson logos. Good old friend Dyson. Go to maps. And we're going to look for a map for the undersellers of the House of the Triad, where they're dealing with this stuff. I get so many spam calls. There was one I saw the other day that grabbed me. I thought worked really well. This one's kind of cool because there's multiple ways in, but I don't know where they would do it. This one I dug. Stop it, man. This last home of the 3 heretics, I think would be a cool. I think this is a cool map. So I think we will save this. Save image as. Save it to my desktop. He does some crazy ping compression that makes these massive, massive maps small. We'll add the image. Desktop. Map should pop in. It's a big high def map. There it goes. So now we've got a map for the location. We might just, so I don't have any idea if anybody's going here or if they even plan to go here. But if they do, I think I'll list out some kinds of monsters they would fight. So Dretches, Mains, Cultist, Thugs, Cult, Fanatics. What other kind of monsters? There was, I think maybe Mordenkainen's has it. There is some kind of monster. Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. I thought there was some kind of, you know what? It's probably easier if I go to Game Rules, Monsters. I am looking for Fiend, but I'm only looking for Fiends from Mordenkainen's. Filter. And we will sort. All right, now these are all way more powerful. There was like an abyssal. In old days, they had these like 4 small. They were like small Glabrazos. Maybe if I get rid of the Mordenkainen filter, I can help. Boop. Now we filter again and take a look. It's not an abyssal chicken. No, it was a. They were called like abyssal ravagers or something like that. Maw demons, that'd be pretty great. Throw some maw demons in. Maybe that's what I was thinking of. We have quasits. Icy hellhounds, right? Those are good. Babaws, Bargists. Shadow Demon, Barbed Devils, Barlgra. Not a Roper. No, Ropers aren't demons. Chasme would be great. I like Chasmes. I give up. We're going to go with Maw Demon. So a lot of demons, a lot of cult fanatics, right? Down beneath. And that's fine. How many of those are right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Look, I've got a random list. So we'll highlight that and we'll turn these into numbers. Now I can roll a D8. Cool. So if they happen to go here, if they just said, okay, it's time to break into that place and dig out. If you want a good old dungeon crawl, I think running a dungeon crawl of the cult's location underneath the House of the Triad would be a good, cool way to do that. So I've got that prepped if I need it. What else do we have? So those are some secrets. 1, 2, 3. I've got so many. 4, 5. I can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now we want to do something about Targos, right? Interesting things in Targos. And so I'll tell you one of the weaknesses of Rime of the Frostmaiden is, and there's nothing you can do about it because it is the way it is. Having 10 towns is kind of a pain in the ass. That's too many towns, right? It's like it's every session is like move to a town, learn a quest, do a thing, right? And that pattern is okay, but it's like it's a lot of travel. And it means there's no real good way to have like a home base because there's 10 of them, right? So I think that's kind of a weakness. What was I going to look up? Damn it. Oh, NPCs. And there's 2 NPCs here that are of note. There is Narith. So, Narith. Mexil Danar. And he is the speaker of Targos. Has connections to the Black Network. As does his right hand, Scath. So that's an interesting one. Narith is trying to gain influence over other towns, including Goodmead through, what's that dude's name? I think I thought I had a picture of him here. I guess I don't. He's the jerk in Goodmead. Including Goodmead and Tourmaline. Thanks, Evil John. Thanks for coming today. Take care. Always a pleasure to have you. So, that's a good one. So, another one we want to have is that there was a murder. Oh, how about Narith? is covering up murders in Targos. But somebody got murdered. So how does Targos determine their sacrifice? Is it a lottery there too? Let's see. Another secret. The children of Oral have a large following in Targos as well. Narith ignores them. Narith. So now we need a cult fanatic in. So where do they exist in Targos? Like Targos is a pretty big city. So where are they operating out of? Is there a temple here? We could make one. Is there some other kind of interesting building that they've taken over and turned into their temple? Let's go to it. Let's get a name. Julian Tallteeth. Lux Killforger. Spider Whisper is a pretty great name. Julian Spider Whisper. How about a drow? A drow priestess of Oral. Runs the children of Oral in Targos. Is there a cliff between the upper and lower city? That's pretty great. I just had the image and I lost it. Terrible. Yeah, so they could have a maybe right there in the center, like buried underneath our secret tunnels. I guess I don't want to make it a big place. I don't think I want to make it I don't want to make like a big dungeon because I've got a whole other dungeons in Bryn Shander for these guys. So it would be more interesting. Is there an orphanage? Oh, that's pretty great. Is there an orphanage here that I missed? Or are you making that up? Because that's awesome. No, great. That's an awesome idea. She runs an orphanage in Targos. So her children of Oral are really children, right? And they're all creepy, and they all hand out brochures, and they talk about the they talk all about Sefik. Perfect. What would the name of the orphanage be? It needs a nice, sinister name. The Children of the White Light. That could be pretty good. And if they're gonna go kick open a door, let's get a manor. Let's find like we'll find a map for a non-dungeon, but more of a manor, and have that handy. Probably I don't need it. This one looks good. Perfect. We'll just take that. Maybe it's a former inn turned into a manor, and it has a basement and a cellar and all that stuff. Yeah. The Fantastic Beast one. That's what I was thinking about. How come that map won't? I want that map. Why is it? Why is that one not clickable? This one's clickable. That one's not. Why, Dyson? Why is the one map I want not clickable? Now I gotta find another one. There's a keep. There's the Raven's Inn. That's not bad. I want one that's got a cellar, because who doesn't want a creepy cellar? I always want a map with a creepy cellar. And I know he's got a bunch. I've seen them before. I've probably used the same ones more than once. There's an old keep. That looks close. Let's take a look at this guy. It's a little too small. But yeah, I think that's a great idea of the Children of Oral. That was perfect. Orphanage. Thank you. Who was it that did that? Redwood. I can't get your last name. I can't see it. I got too many windows open. Redwood Guardian. That was an awesome, awesome idea. Thank you. Isle Garden Inn. Where's the map? There it is. Too open. Orphanage has lots of little small cubby rooms. Problem with 1,000 maps is you can just keep scrolling. You can scroll forever. It makes for awesome podcasting. Hey, podcast listeners, thank you for hanging out and listening while I'm scrolling through a bunch of maps you can't see. Trust me, it's riveting. Some of the best map scrolling you probably ever encountered. The funny thing is, I don't really need an inn that has a cellar. I could just grab any other map for the cellar. So really, any keep would work. Any sort of location. I'm really looking for a map that's just got a bunch of bedrooms. I think this one looks good. It's a 3-story guy. Yeah, that one looks good. We'll grab that one. Save image as desktop. Am I spelling orphanage right? Gonna make the Children of White Light Orphanage. Bang. This is a location. And we add an image. And we've got it. And I probably want some cellars. So we'll just grab whatever works for cellars. Real small dungeon for cellars. Just a few rooms, some creepy places. Not any of these huge dungeons. Come on, Dyson, give me a small dungeon. Yeah, that works well enough. Because, yeah, it could be up against the cliffside, right? So this could be, we'll do this one. Old Crook Hollow. Save this one. Now they got 2 ways in. Cool. Maybe they do something with it. Maybe they don't. Whatever. It didn't take that long for me to get that up and running. So now I've got all of that. All right, let's go back to the notes. So Julian Spider Whisper, a drow priestess of Oral, runs the Children of Oral in Targos. She runs an orphanage in Targos called the Children of White Light. The children all talk about Sepha Caltro, referring to him as Brother Blue. All right. And they actually saw him, and they sort of all laid down in front of him. And it was weird and creepy. Fantastic locations. Boy, do we have some. So where are they going? They're going to Bryn Shander, but we have the House of the Triad as a potential location. We have Bryn Shander. We have Targos. We have the children. The Children of White Light Orphanage. So those are all good. We have so let's generate a let's see, I think I've got it back in front of my notes. Let's generate an interesting monument during travel, right? Glowing buried tomb of the tribe of the wolf. Could be interesting. That might be fun. Crumbling ornate stone circle of Oral. Ooh, that could be cool. Spiked buried ship of the Illithids. I think we're gonna be doing that later. Spired flaming stone circle of the tribe of the Tiger. That, I think that's kind of cool. We're gonna grab that one. And we're gonna go here. And we go to our locations. So what is that? Inspired flaming stone circle of the tribe of the Tiger. That's a location along the way. So they might see a small stone circle and then some etchings on there. And if there's some history checks and stuff like that, they can figure out that it is in fact totems of the tribe of the Tiger. If they go into the circle, flames erupt and a spectral tiger comes out and they have to fight it or something. I don't know. It could be an encounter along the way. We'll see how I feel, but I've got it handy if I need it. So we have Maud Chiselbones. We need Hlyn, who is their patron. We have Narith. We have Father Lake. We have Julian. I don't know if I'll make a card for her yet. We'll see if anything happens with her. We have Sefik. We have Sheriff Markham Southwell. So a bunch of NPCs that could potentially come up. And we're all set there. Monsters. Well, I've got that big list of monsters for the cult. I can roll on the random monster list on the other one. I don't think I need to list any here. I'm not going to bother listing any monsters today because I don't really need any. Treasure. So it never hurts to throw in a never hurts to throw in a relic. Icewind Dale relics. I like one of those. I liked and I already got rid of it. Desecrated Disc of Mistra that casts Cordon of Arrows. Smooth Jar of Eldath that casts Misty Step. That's weird. Delicate Statue of Umberlee that casts Message. Umberlee. That one's kind of cool. Is Message? I don't think Message is particularly. Message is a cantrip. So it could be a permanent one that casts Message. Right? So that could be fun. Where was that? The Umberlee. Delicate Statue of Umberlee that casts Message. We're going to go with that, right? If there's an old statue, and maybe it came from that ship, right? There's that old ship, and maybe it had an Umberlee thing on there, one of the people, and you can hold it and whisper to it, and it'll whisper to whoever you want it to go to. Umberlee whispers to it. It's a fun little magic item that doesn't break anything. It's probably time for another magic item and maybe time for a wish list. I think Sefik should have some stuff. So I think the Icy Dagger of Sefik, right? What do they call it? Brother Blue? It's a +1 dagger that casts Misty Stepped. that cast Misty Step once per day. I think that'd be a fun one. That'd be people would dig that. Giving a rogue something that casts Misty Step is pretty great. Any other magic items that I think would be cool? I should probably ask for a wish list. You know what I didn't do, which we should do, and then we'll probably call it a day, is look at the characters. Let's study our characters. Let's go get the gallery view. Ilda. Ooh, I got a new picture. I got to go, hang on a sec. I got to go find it. Because I've got a new picture for one of the characters. Is that Wednesday? That's the wrong one. Sunday D&D. There we go. Oh, man. Copy. So Gore now has a new image. Oh. So go back to Gore and tell me about my unlimited plan. Oh, it's 7 gig. It's 7 megs and won't upload it. I'll have to do some of that later. Okay, so Ilda. Stop it with this. Is it going to warn me on every one of these? Ilda is a half Goliath, half elf whose family belongs to the Church of Oral. And it might be very cool as a fun thing if she she sees that her parents have funded the orphanage, right? That there's pictures of her. Let's go back to the thing and talk about the orphanage. Ilda's funded the orphanage. That's fun and creepy. Yeah, so her parents are members of the Children of Oral. I don't know which town. She follows Perrin wherever Perrin goes, but Perrin has disappeared. So that's something. Shadowhawk is a drow family from the House Zolaren who escaped Menzo Baranzan and is now up in the surface and is being hunted. Probably, at some point I'm going to want to bring in the assassins who are hunting for him. That could be fun. Auken Dawncaller is a no longer has a set. Had a pet psionic rat named Pinky. Pinky is gone. Pinky might come back though. I think every so often he'll wake up and Pinky will be there. Goliath fighter, as it fights with the big axe. Gore Wen Alcazar is a noble. I love some of his pictures here. Trickster half-orc cleric. Who is a rival of Torg's and runs his own Sword Coast merchant caravan, but the caravan's been cut off. Perrin will not be with us today, and Candle is a Tabaxi rogue being hunted by assassins of the Xanathar, who are all throughout the area. So maybe in Targos would be a likely place for Gygas Greenhood. Gygas is the so let's see. Gygas spends time in Targos. He likes Targos because it's kind of a rough and tumble place, and he's the speaker. The front man for Shekar Ballard. I don't know where Shekar is staying. The Ebonheart. So those are his assassins. I think that's all the characters. So I've got a lot of material, right? And it's going to be a pretty improv heavy game today. But I got a pile of secrets. I got some good fun locations. We added some maps to stuff. That worked well. Got lots of NPCs, some interesting treasure. So I think it's gonna work out, right? It'll all be fine. The one bit of homework that I need to do, and I'll probably do that now while I have lunch, is I need to read over the quest, the Targos quest, mountain climb. Because I know they go up the mountains. I think they deal with some Yetis, but I need to understand this a bit more. So I'm gonna grab the book. Oh yeah, Yetis. Yikes. I'm gonna grab the book and I'm going to read through it and see how this quest looks. My group is level 3, so now they can pretty much handle anything. I'm not worried about the difficulties. And I think that is about it. So I want to thank everybody. Let me slouch down my chair. I want to thank everybody for coming today. I hope you enjoyed another session of the prep for Rime of the Frostmaiden. Thank you all in chat for hanging out and for the outstanding ideas. Redwood Guardian, thank you for that outstanding idea of using an orphanage. That sounds great. It's going to be awesome. And we'll see how it goes. So I will see you guys next week, and take care. Have a great week, and get out there and play some D&D.